everybody. Welcome to our conversation class today. Today, this is Ellen standing in for Marcelo. We have our advanced conversation class today. And today, I'm going to talk about current events happening in the world. So, if you want, join us on Zoom and talk with us. If you can watch on YouTube, amazing. You can always watch again later as well. But on Zoom, we can participate with everybody. So, in a moment, we're going to bring in everybody from Zoom and we'll start talking about today's topic, current events. So, scan the QR code. Join us on Zoom. In a moment, we're going to let everybody in. So, let's see who joins us today. I'd love to see your face here. Let's see. Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you guys? How are you?
Very good.
Amazing. Let's see who's here today.
I'm good.
Let me adjust this for you guys so I can see.
Hello.
Hello. All right, now I can see everybody. Amazing. Nice to see you. Hey, Ja. Hi, Bruno.
Hi, teacher. Good
Luan.
morning. I'm great.
Good morning. Hey, Yogesh.
Good evening.
Hello,
Good evening,
Larissa,
ma'am.
Naeem. How are you guys? Good?
Hi. How are you?
Good, good. I'm good. It's Wednesday. It's May 14. Wow. Already halfway through May. That's crazy. And today here in Boston, it's a little cloudy, it's a little cool. It's not so warm today, unfortunately. How is it where you guys are today? Was the weather good? Ja, it looks like you're in the sun. Go ahead, Yogesh.
In my place, weather is good. It's cloudy and cold as well. So I don't feel any
That's good.
hotness.
That's good.
So it's a good weather.
Amazing. That's great. Awesome.
For me, I think I prefer yesterday weather.
Yeah.
I think it's very good because it's hot. But today is cloudy, but maybe we'll have a rain. I don't know.
I
don't
think
like.
so.
Yeah.
I know. Here in Boston, we had so much rain last week. It was crazy.
Yes.
So much. And we're finally like, please, a break. But yesterday was a beautiful sunny day, I know. Today's not the same. Okay. So I just want to see a question here from Amanda. Let me see with you guys. So, good morning, Amanda. I'm not an advanced student. Can I stay in this class to improve my listening skills? Of course, yes, you can. It's okay if you're not an advanced student. We do have other classes that are beginner and intermediate level. And you can always join and listen. That is a great way to practice your English. So don't worry, Amanda. It's okay if you don't understand everything. It's good for listening, so no problem. And if you want to participate, you can. Okay, my friends. Of course, of course. So my friends, today I want to talk about current events. What's happening in the world? What's going on right now? I am avoiding politics for the most part because we know that politics is a touchy subject. I am avoiding war. I'm trying to talk about some more neutral, potentially, subjects. Not 100% neutral, but we know a lot of things go on in the world every day that can be very sad, can be very devastating, tragic, and we see that so much that I don't exactly want to talk about that today, but I do want to talk about current events that are more either happy or not sad, at least. So sad. Though I do have some interesting things, so we can talk about it. I have some discussion questions after each event. But the first event I wanted to talk about with you guys today is the Pope. Here in Massachusetts, here in the United States, it's big news, and I think around the world. Even if you're not Catholic, Christian, even if you follow another religion or no religion at all, it's still important world news to talk about. And so, the Pope. Who is the Pope? What does he do? Can you guys tell me? Do you know?
I think he's a kind of leader of the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
He's the maximum authority. He have the last word.
Yeah.
The last word in the church.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. This is always a man. It has never been a woman yet. We'll see. Who knows? Someday maybe. It's always a man, and he is elected as the head of the Catholic Church. And so that happened last week on May 8th. And this is a very interesting process of the election. They call it a conclave. There's a movie, I think, on Amazon Prime or Netflix before. You can watch and learn about it too. And so the previous Pope, Francis, had died a few weeks ago, and it was time to choose a new Pope. And there's a whole selection process. Do you guys know the meaning? There's smoke in this process. Do you know what the smoke means? Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Can you explain?
When a pope is chosen, the smoke appears or white or gray.
Mm-hmm. White or gray or black. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gray means the pope is not chosen, isn't chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And the white is when he's chosen.
Yeah. So if they have not chosen a pope, there is black or gray smoke that comes from a chimney in the Sistine Chapel, which is where they choose the pope. And they isolate themselves and they vote multiple times. And when they finish voting and they've elected a new pope, they release white smoke from the chimney. And it's a signal, a visual signal to everybody around the world that a pope has been chosen. And then the man steps out and addresses the crowd.
Just curious, he just joined the Instagram and have like 9 million followers.
Oh, my friend Lucas here said that he just joined Instagram, the Pope, and has 9 million followers. Let's follow the Pope. It's a thing, having a Pope on social media. That's so different. So, the Pope was elected last week, and he is the first American Pope, which is also kind of a big deal. We already have a lot of world leadership in America. It's a lot. And now there's another level. And so that's something I wanted to discuss a little bit with you guys. But this is the man. His name is Robert Francis Prevost. He's from Chicago, Illinois, where they have deep dish pizza and jazz. And he chose the name Pope Leo the 14th. You guys see here, I wanted to point out the Roman numerals. Roman numerals are something that I think a lot of Americans don't always know what it is, and I don't know about the rest of the world, but I think they do. And so here, X is 10, and the IV is 14, is 4, I'm sorry, not 14. So the total is 14. So this is the 14th Pope Leo. And so he's the first American to be Pope. Now, I have two questions that I want you guys to talk about. How important is the geographical origin of a pope in shaping the direction of the church's global influence? This is a big question, but I wanted to ask you guys, does it matter where the pope is born? If the pope is born in the US, if the pope is born in Africa, if the Pope is born in China, for example, how important is where they are born in how they influence the church as the head of the church? Do you think it's important or not where they're born? Tell me, you guys, what do you think?
I think it's not important, the origin of the Pope. I think it's more important who is the Pope, what is the character, what influence have in another people with the Catholic, what laws have, and if he's racist or no. If
Mm-hmm.
he's racist, it's good, and he's racist, I have a problem with that.
Of course, of course.
And the Pope normally know Italian, and other times I know the Pope knows English or
Mm-hmm.
Spanish or another language.
Yeah.
That's important, I think. Not
Mm-hmm.
important the origin. Important
Definitely.
the Pope, the people.
I agree, Luan. That's a great point. It doesn't matter really maybe where they're from, but their values as a person and as a religious leader. I agree. Would anyone else like to share? What do you think? Larissa, I don't know for sure, but I think maybe he knows the problems from his country and can help in a better way. I understand and I agree. I think that you know what issues happen in your country when you live there, and you can better help your country or the world. Though we know having a pope from the US is so different than having a pope from a smaller country, for example. So interesting. This pope, Robert Leo, he's from Chicago, Illinois, but he actually lived in Peru for many years and is partially a Peruvian citizen. And he speaks Spanish. He speaks English, of course. He spoke at his address, he can speak in Italian and in Latin. So they can speak, like Luan said, multiple languages in order to communicate with the world. If you isolate yourself to, for example, only English, that's a problem. Amanda said, can influence his pontificate, good word, and legacy, but they do not absolutely determine his future. A society's culture, experiences, and values can shape the way a pope approaches issues facing the church, the world, and the faithful. Definitely, definitely. Amanda, that's great. You guys have some good thoughts about this. I think any religious leader, they do not have to be only the pope, really needs to have those values that not only of a humble or a good moral person, but that reflect their faith, for example. And so, this is kind of my second question here. What are the qualities that a pope or another religious leader should embody? Should they be humble? Should they be kind? Definitely. What else should a pope or religious leader be? What values should they hold close? What do you think? A religious leader or a pope should be humble. That's my sentence. What can you say? Any kind of leader. It doesn't even need to be religious. What are we thinking? They should be kind, humble, open-minded. Can you add to my list?
Good listener.
Good listener, friendly, respectful, welcoming,
Patient while listening.
patient while listening. Definitely.
Compassion.
Compassion, 100%. Great vocabulary words. These are really important as a leader and as a religious leader. You're not doing it for celebrity. You're not doing it for money. You're doing it for faith, for God, for whatever you believe in. And that's why they do it, for the people, not for themselves. Definitely. Any leader. Okay, my next current event, moving on from the Pope. This is something totally different, but it's about the environment. First of all, there is a website called the Good News Network. You should follow it. You should search. It's a great place to find happy news, good news, not bad news. And I found this and I said, oh, I love it. Antarctica. Do we know Antarctica? Where is Antarctica?
What is the channel name? Good News?
Good News Network.
Okay.
So where is Antarctica in the world? Oh my goodness, hold on. I don't know why that happened there. Excuse me, my friends. My Chrome crashed. Let me get my Chrome back for you. Give me one moment.
They have two channels, Good News Network ICC and Good News Network.
Interesting. I think I just looked at Good News Network specifically. Sorry, you guys. Apologies. Antarctica. Let's get back to Antarctica. So, there we go. Much better. Thank you. In Antarctica, not Good News Agency, but I can type it here later for us. So in Antarctica, we know that it is a place full of ice and snow, and it's a very cold place. And people don't live there. Polar bears and penguins live there. We have the Arctic and the Antarctic in the world. In Antarctica, they have gained 200 billion tons of ice during a recent 2-year period, which has surprised scientists. We hear so much about ice melting and all the ice melting and climate change and how it's global warming is affecting the sea levels. But between 2021 and 2023, East Antarctica gained approximately 216 billion tons of ice, surprising scientists. This unexpected accumulation, attributed to increased snowfall, temporarily offset the global sea level rise by about 0.3 millimeters annually. So it actually lowered the sea level versus raising the sea level because of more snow. But experts caution that this rebound may be short-lived and not indicative of a long-term trend. So, lots of words going on here. They saw that more snow made more ice over 2 years, but they cannot guarantee that this will be a long-term pattern. Maybe it will just be for a short time. It's not like, oh, everything's fixed and amazing. It's like, oh, we did something good. What did we do? Let's keep doing it. So, that was really cool. We hear so much about global warming and the sea levels rising. And people are very fearful, and we think about floods in the future and all this crazy stuff. But they found that we got more ice, so let's keep doing the right thing. So my questions for you, I'm sorry if it's so small. How do you think this discovery will impact the way we view climate change in the coming years? Will it change policies on environmental issues? So do you think that this discovery will affect climate change research, politics? What do you think? Yes, no, how? What do you guys think? This discovery, Do you think it will affect climate change research? Let me know. I would love to hear from you guys. Ja, go ahead.
Yeah, teacher, I didn't really understand this question, but I want to try.
Go
I
ahead.
think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this news are not just about now. I think it's a too long time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very bad news for everyone, for people, for plants, for animals. It's not. It's both very good. I think maybe about many car, about product and let environment change to bad. But
Mm-hmm.
let let maybe have a lot of reason, but I understand, but I can't use English.
That's
and
okay.
talk
Don't
this
worry.
one.
You're doing amazing, Jad. Don't worry. You're
Thank
doing
you,
great.
teacher.
Of course. Of course. I know we can always yes, I know how to say this in my first language. I can do it. But doing it in the second language is hard, or the third. So, for example, I think that this could affect negatively climate change research because people might assume, especially in politics, that it's perfect and that, wow, see, we did it. So then they stop protecting or they stop thinking about the future and say, it's good, okay, it's fine. Or in the climate change world, in the scientist world, maybe they say, oh my gosh, we need to keep researching this, we need to keep doing this. And maybe it causes a debate, a clash, because there is always a debate in politics about environmental issues. So, that was my first question. My second question, it's saying here, the first phrase, in light of these findings, this is a more advanced phrase. In light of these findings, so now that we have discovered, how should we balance the concerns, the worries about the melting ice caps with this new data suggesting some ice gain? So it's saying, similar to this question, how do we balance this information? We have information saying, wow, the ice is rising. And then we have other information that say, no, the ice is decreasing and the water is rising. How do we balance this information? What can we do next to learn more? What should we do to learn more about this situation?
Well, in my opinion, we can balance the increment of ice.
Mm-hmm.
Don't use a lot of gas, petroleum. Don't contaminate the water, the air. Try to reuse some things and don't use a lot of cars.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to have a car for transport.
Of course.
Important, and we need to have a balance with that.
Yeah.
Don't use every day, every time, for any occasion. It's important use sometimes when it's necessary
Yeah.
because it's impossible. I walking in Brockton.
I know. Yeah. In Massachusetts in general, if you don't live in Boston, it's difficult to walk from your home to another place. Definitely. So it's a balance of, okay, I still need to consider about the environment and others too, but I also still need to do some things that maybe don't always help the environment. I do need to drive my car, but maybe not every day, for example. Great point, Luan. Larissa said we can plant trees to fix the weather. Yes, planting more trees is always a plus. It's always an advantage. I agree. Amazing. So, my friends, my next current event is called, it's about the Kentucky Derby. Do you know what is the Kentucky Derby? Have you heard these words before?
Yes. In the movies, I listen the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah? What do you know about the Kentucky Derby, Luan?
I understand the Kentucky Derby is a ride of horses.
Mm-hmm.
The person can give money or win money or lose money,
Mm-hmm.
depending. And the best horse is I don't know how do you say when reproduce that horse with another
Mm-hmm.
horse.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
I'm
I
not
don't know.
sure,
Yeah.
but I need to search later, definitely. There's a lot of specific terms in equestrian knowledge, equestrian for horses.
That horse is the seventh horse.
Mm-hmm.
Best horse. The
Yeah.
unique horse win all the rides.
Yes.
The seventh.
Yes. So, my friends, the Kentucky Derby is a horse race that we have here in the state of Kentucky. It's more in kind of the south of the United States. It's not close to Massachusetts. And they have this long time history of this race, this horse race. The word derby, I believe, has to do with a short race. And so here you see a little horse. And something that happens there a lot too is they have big outfits. The women have like a very fancy outfit with like the biggest hat in the world. So it's like a hat, almost a hat competition. It's so interesting, it's funny. So the Kentucky Derby happened back on May 3rd. And there was a horse named Sovereignty. Sovereignty is the name of the horse. This horse won, which actually surprised a lot of people because they expected a different horse named Journalism to win. But Sovereignty won instead. But this is not the only news. This is not the only current event happening. Recently, like yesterday, the rider of the horse, we call the jockey, Junior Alvarado, who rode Sovereignty to victory, who won the race with Sovereignty at the Kentucky Derby, has been fined. What is fined? Can you tell me? He has been fined some money. If you are given a fine, it's money that you have to pay. Exactly. So this man who was riding Sovereignty, this is him and this is Sovereignty, was fined $62,000 and suspended for the overuse of his whip during the race. So I looked up the rules when I was reading about this article. In the horse race, in the Kentucky Derby, they have the whip for the horse. They can use this whip a maximum of 6 times in the race. And Junior used the whip 8 times. And this is not his first fine, his first offense. And the most recent was 3 months ago. So within 3 months, 2 times he has been in trouble for using the whip on the horse too much during the race. And when I saw that, I said, wow. First of all, they have rules about it, as they should. It's animal cruelty. But also the fact that this is somebody who we would call a repeat offender. Somebody who repeats an offense, something that they shouldn't do. So I wanted to ask some questions about this. How do you balance, again, a balance question, how do you balance the want for competitive sports? People like to watch racing. People want to watch horse racing. Some of them, it's their job. How do you balance that with the ethical treatment of the animals, the horses, in the sport? How can we balance people wanting this competitive racing and the treatment of the animal? What do you think, my friends? Think about it for a second. What do you think? I agree, Amanda. She said, I know this is Kentucky's culture, but poor horse. I know, it's very popular there to do this, but I feel bad for the horses. I do. Especially if something like this happens. What do you think about animal treatment and the sports that animals are in?
Well, in my opinion, I don't know a lot about the Kentucky Derby, but I know the horse is very intelligent and the horse understands with patiently, with the love. He not need force, he not need angry, he not need people say you are a stupid horse. He needs love, and he can understand. He the horse is very intelligent. I love the horse, and I know the horse is very intelligent and
Yeah.
can understand when the person says is right or wrong,
Mm-hmm.
walking. They don't need horse, they need love.
Yeah.
And for another, I think it's important have whole horses riders with an ethical moral. They need to
Mm-hmm.
understand the horses are animals. The horses not toys. The horses not cars. The horses are animals. They have feelings.
Mm-hmm. I agree. We must treat animals as they deserve to be respected. I agree. Ja, go ahead.
In my city in China, my city has this game. It's very similar this game because it have a 1,000 years
Tradition?
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about married. About a man have a woman become to his wife. It's very old game. But in my opinion, because this news about a game, it's about animals game. If I'm very love animal, but if you want to get a championship in a game, maybe every day you need a very difficult exercise. You and your horse and another
Mm-hmm.
animal. Because you want to have a championship.
Yeah.
It's very not good for animal and professional sport always very bad for body for animal always.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hear you, Ja, and I know you are a competitor, you are an athlete, so you really understand as well.
Yeah.
The training that goes into wanting to win the championship is an intense training.
Yes.
And for a person, it's a little different than an animal. And putting yourself through the intense training as a human versus putting the animal through the intense training, you need to make sure that animal is taken care of, definitely. And it's maybe not going to be healthy for them to train for this.
Yes.
I understand, thank you. Would anyone else like to share? I think it's definitely a tricky subject. The treatment of animals between sports, between medicine, so many things that we must be very careful. I think that the people riding the horses should have like specific classes or training that goes into the animal care and welfare. Of course, that doesn't mean that the person will be perfect. They may still try to break the rules. But I also think it's good that the association for the Kentucky Derby or for the horses, that the association is saying this is a bad thing, that this man did something wrong, and that this horse was hurt. So I think it's so important that the association recognizes this as well. And they did here, which was very important. And the treatment in animals has come a long way since 50, 60 years ago. We're still getting there, but nobody will stay silent now. Now the animals have voices, in a sense. So, the next question. How might this incident affect public perception of horse racing as a sport? Do you think this news will change people's opinion on horse racing? Maybe before they said, oh, I don't really think about it, I don't care. And maybe now they care. Does it make you think differently about horse racing? Did it change your opinion hearing this story?
Well, in my opinion, that incident affect the public perception because the person watches that and we say, "Oh my God, poor horse!
Mm-hmm.
The horse rider is a bad person. All horse riders are a bad person."
Yeah.
That not all the horse riders are a bad person. Some horse riders are a good person. They understand that
Mm-hmm.
horses are animals. They have feelings.
Yeah.
And other horse riders don't have a good heart. It's important choose a good horse riders.
Yeah. Definitely. You also have to consider allowing, like, who you allow to be the horse rider per se, and what you allow them to do, and if you allow them to get away with things. I agree. Great point, Luan. I definitely think that if this story comes out now where people really pay attention, because it's hard too, with so much news happening, these stories come and go so fast. You see for one day, and then you forget the next day. Not even a full day sometimes. We know that the world of politics takes over the news. And so something like this, animal ethics, is not always the highlight in the news story. But definitely, if enough people hear about this and learn, maybe changes will be made in the future. Maybe there'll be more strict regulations for the jockeys, for the people riding the horse. Definitely. I'm glad that the horse is being taken care of and that it's recognized that he did something wrong, that the rider did something wrong. And my friends, my last event for today is about Jose Mujica. Maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me. He was a president in Uruguay from 2010 to 2015. And he just passed away. He just died. And he was apparently, I didn't know, I learned, a very important and mostly well-loved president in Uruguay. He was a president that he called himself the poorest president. That he's not a rich president. He didn't come from a big family. He actually was in guerrilla warfare and Marxist politics, I saw. But he really was a president of the people, you could say. He was like the people that were there, and he wanted them to know, this is for you. Like the Pope, for example, this is for you, not for me. And so he was a man who lived on a farm, and he still, after his presidency, before he died, did many things for the past 10 years. So he just passed away. He was 89 years old. So again, a world leader of sorts, a large, prominent figure passing away. So I have two questions here. Mujica often referred to himself as the poorest president due to his simple way of living. What message do you think he was trying to convey through this? So when the president says, "I'm the poorest president," what kind of message do you think they're trying to tell the people? What do you think? Think about it for a minute. Take your time, there's no rush. These are tough questions today. But why would a president tell that to the people? I'm the poorest president. I'm humble. I am a simple way of life. Why would the people like to hear that?
I think because he don't take advantage of his power.
Mm-hmm.
He was a president, but he don't take the money. He don't take fraudulence. He always share the money. Share his street, his house. He don't take a lot of money, but he was a good president because he always was a just person. He always thinks in the people in his country, not in money,
Yeah.
not in another politics. He thinks in what need my people, what need my country.
Mm-hmm.
How can I how can I best this country more?
Yes.
I don't I think that because if I know exist presidents with a bad moral and they only think in money, but Jose Mujica he thinks in the people in his
Yes.
country.
Exactly. Definitely. We see all the time good politicians, bad politicians. We see presidents that come from the people. We see presidents that come from a rich family. We see presidents that have built their career. And it's all different. But people really liked Jose because he was one of them. He saw the problems in the country, like anybody, and says, I will do something to fix that. I will not just let my people live in a horrible condition. And he still cared after his presidency to take care of the people. And so that's my second question. In his post-presidency life, so after his presidency, after he was president, Mujica continued to advocate for social and environmental causes. Do you think that political figures should continue to influence society after they leave office? So, for example, I think of President Barack Obama from the United States. Should he have continued influencing society? Did he? Definitely. Do you think a president, after they finish being president, should continue the good work or a work? What do you think? Amanda, I see. I think he was trying to be a simple person. Like most people in Uruguay, he wanted people to feel the same as him. Yes, exactly. I think that after a political leader or president leaves the office, we say, then they should continue advocating for what they believe. If they don't, it almost means nothing sometimes. And they must continue showing what they support or believe. Now, whether you agree with it or not, that's the other problem. Maybe we think they should, but maybe we don't agree with their politics, so then we say, no, they shouldn't, but this person should. And that's the problem, is having two sides, for example. So Jose continued to work with his social and environmental causes that he cared about in Uruguay because he was for the people. He cared about the people. Now, that is just a few current events that are happening. Can you think of any more current events to add to my list? We have a few minutes, so I wanted to give you guys some time too to share. Are there any current events that you would like to discuss or thought was interesting that you would be interested to share? What's happening in the world? What's a current event happening right now that you know about or that you want to know more about?
Well, in my case, I know some current events. The most popular event was the movies, because the movies have a lot includes like the genders, female, males, no binaries, trans, and some people say it's stop. It's not necessary a lot
Mm-hmm.
includes, because the movies is for enjoy, for share with the persons. It's not for include uh, genders, no binaries.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have problems with that person, but I think it's important have limits. Some movies are good with includes, no, and another movies not with includes. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, and I think it's important respect the culture, respect the history. That movie, do you know, is Snow White? This year is this year is a very bad movie, because the
Mm-hmm.
story don't have a lesson, don't have a message, and the actress don't have that fantasy. Oh, she's a princess. Where is the prince? I think it's bad. Think all the people think, oh my god, I need a prince, because the prince have a castle, and the castle have money, have all my
Yeah.
servants. I think it's important things in my on myself, but it's important looking the law. What is the problem looking the law? The prince is a representation of my childhood, when I think the love and the true love, I don't like it. And this is more important current event, I think.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think in film, in movies, the representation of LGBTQ or other people in general, it having inclusiveness, diversity, is a big conversation for sure. Is it too much? Is it not enough? Is it necessary? Is it important? And is the representation accurate? If the person being represented on the screen, for example, is gay, but it is a straight actor, is that a problem? There's a lot of conversation with transgender conversations that we're having now in 2025 and how things change, that the representation that we see of our lives in film for some people is so important. For other people, it's not as important because it's for entertainment. And so it's a big conversation for sure happening. I agree, Luan. Amanda said Cannes Film Festival. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Ja, go ahead.
I want to share two news. Uh, First news about is I think it's the best important for me,
Yes.
because about money. I always saw news about increased traffic on many countries, exactly about China. Yeah. Uh, so led to higher price. So I always feel nervous. It's very important for people because not very good. And the second, I think is very interesting. I saw the news on um, last week about scientists maybe found a new star. Maybe this star,
Really?
yeah,
Cool.
maybe this star have another kind of people or animal.
Oh
Yeah,
my
because I
goodness.
love this information.
Yeah.
I always believe maybe in another world have a
Yeah,
different
yeah,
kind of people will
yeah.
be together, but I can't see her, see he, and now
Mm.
maybe one day I can.
Yeah. Wow, Ja, that's so cool. So maybe there's another star that has some other life. We
Yes.
always talk about other life in the universe. We are not the only life, definitely, because the universe is so big. We're just the one life I think it's around here.
Yeah,
So-
just our soul is very, very boring. I think I have a lot of friends with our together.
Yes, that's so cool, Ja. I want to search about
Yeah.
that. I want to know, you guys, if there's life on another planet, that's science fiction come to life. Crazy, crazy. Cool, very cool. Any other current events happening in the world? We just had Mother's Day holiday. I hope that was great for you all. And then in the United States, our next holiday is at the end of May. It's actually in about 10 days. It's Memorial Day. So that is kind of a local current event to the United States, at least, that we will have a memorial for those who have died in the military from before, past, present, and future. That it's a day to honor those who have died in the military, Memorial Day. So that's coming up. I saw that back on May 1, when it was Labor Day for many countries, that there was multiple protests happening. I saw in my search related to that maybe Putin and Zelensky, Russia and Ukraine, would maybe have some peace talks. So hopefully that happens, I hope. We know it's been crazy in the world right now with war and fighting. It's wild. And I feel for a lot of the people that have to go through that every day. And so it's so hard. That's why I didn't want to talk about it so much, because I know it can be very hard for some people. You may live very close to these kinds of situations happening. So that's why I wanted to talk about the better things. Maybe not so happy, but not so negative either. So we talked about the Pope. Now you can talk about the Pope in English with somebody. We talked about the Antarctic ice growing. We talked about the Kentucky Derby and animal ethics with horses specifically. And we talked about a president of Uruguay, the former president, passing away, and the legacy that he leaves behind. So the purpose of this is here at Approach, one of our classes that we hold for our students is called Current Issues or Current Events. And in these classes, the purpose of this for our students, especially here in the United States, was to learn how to talk about these news events that they are seeing in English. Because if we see on our phone, on our Instagram, maybe it's not in English, and that's okay. But if you want to talk with somebody that speaks English about this topic, we have to learn the new words. For example, I said to someone last week, the Pope, but they didn't really know the word Pope. They knew Papa, but Papa for me is like a father, and we use the word Pope in English. Things like that, where we designed this class at Approach in order to help students talk about what's happening in the world right now in English and understand these new vocabulary words that they may see in English. They can understand the topic or read it in their first language, but now we can talk about it with anybody. So if somebody says to you, "Did you see about the new Pope?" and you're like, "I don't know the word Pope." This is the point. This is the idea, to be able to talk about what's going on in the world in English. So my friends, pay attention to what current events are happening around you. It can be local, it can be in your town, in your city, in your country, in the world. It doesn't have to be near you. And it's so important to pay attention to what's going on in the world. It can be so difficult, again, seeing the negativity that happens. It can be overwhelming. But something like the Good News Network, I should type that here. Yes, exactly. The Good News Network is something that will really boost your spirits as well and make you feel better, seeing the good news in the world. Here, I see, Amanda said, is like memory lane. Ooh. Okra and fenugreek extracts safely remove microplastics from water. That's amazing. We've seen a lot about microplastics. Microplastic is tiny, tiny plastic, microplastic. And it's in a lot of water, and it's in our system sometimes, in our body actually, in fish. It's not good. But if they found that specific extracts from okra and fenugreek can remove the microplastic, that's so cool. Because it's also nature. Those are plants, vegetables. And that's really cool. Thank you for sharing, Amanda. I love it. So, my friends, we're out of time for today. But I'll be back on Friday, and we are going to talk about something. I'm not sure yet, but we will share in the chat what we'll talk about. Let me go back here. I have our QR code, you guys, if you ever need it. I know that sometimes we don't always have this. The QR code to join our links, to join our WhatsApp group, to get updates. And I want to thank you guys all for joining today. All right. It was so good to see you guys. And you're welcome for please come anytime. I love talking with you guys. We're in week 6 already of 11. It's crazy. Amazing. All right, my friends. I will see you guys later. Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye. Bye.